People often ask us, is this Dull Men's Club, is it a movement? No, it's not a movement. We like to stay put. People also ask us, is the Dull Men's Club one of these 12-step programs? No. 12-step programs try to get people to change their behavior. The Dull Men's Club is a 2-step program. We admit we're dull, and we're going to keep it that way. We formed the Dull Men's Club a while back. We got tired of reading and hearing so much about people always striving for the glitz and glam, trying to keep up with the Joneses, always trying to get a fancier car. They go to Las Vegas and come back and say, hey, I heard Neil Diamond, big deal. But there are moments in today's life where there are some dull moments, thank goodness, where life is not so fast, particularly in big cities. We have traffic jams, we have stoplights, and I actually enjoy that because I stop at a stoplight, I got a little time to sit and pull my to-do list out, check things off. I love to check things off my to-do list. So thank goodness for stoplights and traffic jams, that's what I say.
Traffic lights, but I don't. I hate them. I despise them. Blinking things. Traffic lights, as opposed to roundabouts, we don't see a traffic light as being very green. There's no green in traffic lights, only red. What you have to remember, when you're standing at a traffic light in your car, and there's no traffic going anywhere, your engine is just using up fuel. Whereas on a roundabout, you're constantly filtering through. But also you have the safety aspects of traffic lights. 90% reduction in fatalities once a roundabout has been installed as opposed to a traffic light. Yeah, roundabouts are far more green than traffic lights, which have to be maintained after all. Whereas to maintain this roundabout, say, you've just got to mow the lawn. How green is that? The Roundabout Appreciation Society came round about in 2003. I was running a small printing business and we wanted to come up with a calendar that was totally unique. Fed up with your David Beckhams, Jordan, six-pack firemen, we came up with Roundabouts of Redditch, which is the town where the printers was. What I didn't realise was how popular that calendar would become, and it sold all around the world. And that spawned, eventually, the best of British roundabouts, is why I'm here today, to capture this beautiful island. As I drew up to this beautiful village of Otford, straight away this roundabout greets you, and I was tingling all over at the beauty of it. The whole point of a roundabout is they're so expressive. You can put anything on a roundabout. I've seen statues, fountains, windmills, duck ponds now, which just sums up roundabouts, how beautiful they are and how expressive they are. And I think we need to just take a step back and just go round the roundabout twice. Slowly, why not? Make a beautiful day by doing that. I think they lift our sagging spirits on long, tiresome journeys with their infinite variety of colour and creativeness.
I love park benches. They're so wonderful, they're everywhere. I can go anywhere in the world. People say, why do you go to exciting cities like Paris and London and New York? Well, I can have a dull life in these places. I'm in London now at a wonderful park bench here in Cleveland Square. And in New York, Central Park is the park bench capital of the world. It's got a fabulous array of park benches, miles of them.
It all started back in around about 1999. I'd worked at Rothwell Colliery near Leeds for 16 years. As the colliery safety officer, and the pit closed in 1984 and I moved on. I was asked if I could go down to the colliery, the old colliery site. All the buildings had been demolished. It was just like it was a derelict site. All the buildings were there, but there were certain bricks still lying about. And I was asked to go down to give the landscapers a view as to where buildings used to be, and I were able to help in that way. But while we were walking around with the foreman, I noticed that these bricks were lying about and the names of the brick makers were there. So I asked him what was going to happen to them, and he says they'll all be collected up and broken up and they're going to be used for ballast. So straight away I thought, well, it's a shame these things being broken up, and I asked him if I could take some. Took about half a dozen or a dozen so, and came back. And eventually I've collected about 40, all different name makers. And that's where the interest started, because none of these brick makers were still in business. And I felt it was something like the coal mining industry that were going to the wall, and the shipbuilding and the steel industry in Sheffield. And all these industries were dying, and brick making was one of them. Yeah. So shut door, love. No, we're commandos. Shut door. My wife Maureen is a wee bit long suffering over the brick problem, because I put maybe 3 rows of bricks down here, and as I got more and more I had to extend it. So the thing is, I was taking up part of my wife's lawn. Well, it's not a lawn there, it's grass, so I couldn't put any more down there. So then I had to go to the wall and build the wall up a wee bit, but that keeps falling down. Bricks aren't intended to be laid like that, you know, but I wanted the name of the maker to be showing. It was a battleground, yeah, but I won eventually, but I didn't put any more down there. The line's definitely drawn, and I've lost that part of the battle, but there's still plenty of room there, and up and down, you know.
A lot of women appreciate dull men. They like a dull man in their life. Dull men are fabulous around the house.
My ex-wife hated the fact that I was a roundabout spotter, and in the end she left me. But I don't mind that, because I can go out now roundabout spotting whenever I want. I don't have any quarrels over that. So that's the positive side of things.
My wife is not a collector by any means, but she's quite happy with my side of collecting, all the places we go, all the people we meet. She's great at organising where we stay. So Sue's great for sort of seeing things in advance and sorting things out like that. As far as I'm aware, I have the largest collection of British milk bottles in the British Isles. And I was walking on the Brecon Beacons up Pen y Fan and stumbled across an old milk bottle from the 1950s in the Bracken. Took it home. It was from Whitchurch in Shropshire, and I discovered the dairy was closing down. And I then did a bit more investigation and found that all the dairies were starting to close down or being taken over. So I decided to try and get as many bottles as I could, and now 30 years later I'm where I'm at. My milk bottle museum, which I started off as a small building and then gradually added bits onto it until it's the size you see now as an L shape. It holds approximately 17,500 milk bottles, which my children worked out was about 14.25 tonne of glass, and it contains bottles from all over the world, but primarily British bottles. Well, they're nice to handle. Milk bottles do have a sort of tactile feel to them, but the beauty of a milk bottle as opposed to a jam jar is you take the jam out of a jam jar and it's gone, it's a one-off. The milk bottle has to go back to the dairy, or should go back to the dairy, where he puts more milk in it, and then it goes to another customer. Right, I've just picked one bottle out because it's in your face. It's Associated Dairies. They were a dairy in Leeds in the 1950s and before, and most people won't realise that they're now Asda, Associated Dairies, Asda. They bought a couple of little supermarkets, 8 till 8 in the late 50s, early 60s, try and make a few more money, and now they're part of the giant combined Walmart from America. I mean, technically, 17,500 milk bottles are not worth anything. They're just glass, the most common thing on the planet. But to me, they're worth millions because they're my pride and joy. My mission is to get every milk bottle that I haven't got.
And that's a long mission, isn't it?
Well, I will never complete it. And in all honesty, I never want to. You've got to have fun. You've got to live life a little bit. You've got to slow down, not take things too serious. Look after your friends. Go and see places. And the really strange thing, and this is dull as well, I expect, is if you actually, on a serious note, think that tomorrow was the last day of your life, whether you're going to the electric chair or you're going to die or what have you, you think how sharp a blade of grass is, or how nice it is to feel the breeze. You don't think about the breeze or the sun which goes in and out and affects your cameraman. You don't think about black grass or pebbles or shells in there you've hidden for the grandchildren. All that just, you ignore it and you pass it by. But if you just stop dead and put your arms around a tree, daft or dull as it may seem, it makes life just a little bit more happy.
You have to accept that it's a bit of a sedate sort of hobby. It's almost got certain Zen-like qualities to it. I mean, if you suffer from a nervous disposition or got heart trouble, it's the perfect hobby for you. It's just to sit back and take in these beautiful pieces of round architecture.
The modern world is busy, busy, busy. Everything is faster than it ever used to be. You know, it used to take a steamship to go back and forth from here to America.
But we older ones, golden oldies, have got to sort of let it go by. It goes over our heads now. I've got a phone that cost me £14 and I got a £10 voucher with it. And when Maureen were in hospital, that phone was worth £1,000 to me because I was able to communicate with her. And I still wouldn't want one of these that takes videos because I don't need it. We older ones don't need that. If we want a video, we can go and buy one or whatever. But I don't know whether I'm coming over as being a bit fuddy-duddy. I probably am. But yeah, life's going too fast.
One of the nominees last year was Peter Willis, a retired postman living in Malvern in Worcestershire. Peter's hobby now is traveling all around England, photographing every one of the 115,000 post boxes.
Our friend over there really gives me a great feeling. I've been here so many times. I love the box, its shape, it's unique. As we said earlier, there's only 5 of them around. And the fact it's lasted from the late 1850s and it's still in use today, and it's in a location that's, I suppose, quite isolated really. I wonder why it was placed here all those years ago, but it's survived being cornered 2 world wars, this, that and the other. And it's just brilliant, and I just love it. The box itself can be a pretty and attractive item. The age of the box, if it's Victorian, the rarity of the box, if my knowledge gives me that information, that there aren't many of these around. So this one is one of only 5 that are remaining. Luckily we have 3 in Malvern. The condition, I'd actually quite like them old, rusty and a bit grotty, a bit dirty. They've had years and years and years of wear and tear. And also, of course, the location. As I've said, if the location of where you are is an attractive spot, then again it adds to the whole experience. Sometimes it can go the other way. Where you are is perhaps not so nice and you wonder, well, will I come here ever again? And what am I doing here? But the box is the attraction. One of the benefits of joining the Letterbox study group is access and use of their database. And with the help of my son, I have been able to get those references into my GPS unit, and the unit itself, it has a feature where you can set it to give you a warning, an alarm prompt for what they call a waypoint, and that is very, very, very useful. I never leave home, or rarely leave home without it. And one of the the major enjoyments of that is to visit new places. And you meet with different people, new people, they're curious as to what one is doing, but it takes me to places that I would not normally visit, and most of the time that is really, it's certainly interesting all the time, but it is, generally speaking, very interesting, and I enjoy every minute of it. It may sound big-headed, but yes, I do consider myself an artist.
I think as a roundabout enthusiast, I see myself as an artist.
I suppose it does really, doesn't it? If it does look artistic, then I certainly didn't intend it.
I think certain people in life are attractive to mundane things in life.
I'm very conscious of what's behind the box or boxes. I try very hard.
Yeah, I suppose it is artistic in a way. I suppose Tracy Hemming could make something out of them. Do you think?
We regard ourselves as dull, but not boring. One of our members has a collection of airport sickness bags. Another member collects toothpicks. Another member collects restaurant menus. The overall message of the Dull Men's Club is celebrate the ordinary. There's a lot to be enjoyed just in slowing down, taking life easy, sitting on a park bench, watching the world go by.